Maritimo are one of Australia's premier luxury motor yacht manufacturers. Founded by industry legend Bill Barry-Cotter, and now with son Tom firmly entrenched in the business, they continue to push the boundaries of luxury motor yacht design and build. We've been invited for an exclusive look at what promises to be a big year for this Gold Coast boat building company. The M55 Flybridge and S55 Sedan are two of the models that Maritimo will be releasing throughout 2021. Both of these boats come from a long pedigree of offshore cruising and ocean-tested performance and ability. The two new models are in production right behind me, and they're both going to be released at the 2021 Sanctuary Cove Boat Show. To achieve all this, Maritimo says it has been investing heavily in career pathways for staff, offering training and skill diversification across the board. As a result, Maritimo craftspeople are some of the most knowledgeable and skilled in the industry. To talk about the mentorship program, we're joined by Phil Candler, who is the General Manager and Head of Operations for Maritimo.
So the mentorship program here at Maritimo, which we fondly call the Academy of Excellence, is all about developing our staff from the very beginning through developing mentors to work in closely with our apprentices, and through the whole apprenticeship program, then after their apprenticeship program, to ensure they've got the training, the development, the skills, but also the emotional intelligence on how to manage people, boats and process. When running a company like Maritimo, to stay ahead of the curve is always a challenge. It's a challenge about what is the customer expecting. It's a challenge about what does the future look like. And it's a challenge about how we interpret that then to develop the boat.
For 2021, Maritimo have no less than 8 individual model or announcements on existing models to come throughout the year. And that's including the 55s you see behind me currently under construction. Due to launch in late 2021, Tom Barry-Cotter, Design Director for Maritimo, has more information on the M600.
So the new M600 Offshore is the first exciting model of our new Offshore Series. So the Offshore Series is something that we've brought out that gives us that area of the boat and that aft area of the boat with an enclosed cockpit to make it a much more secure feeling for those that just want that comfort when you've got kids or pets. And then it also has the ability to be set up a lot more specialised for fishing. So they'll have huge cockpits in that aft area of the boat as well, so you can have things like fishing chairs and all of the other fishing equipment such as bait tanks and live wells and underfloor lockers and things like that. So it's due for release later this year. When we're planning a new model or new series, we generally are putting sort of pen to paper on the idea about 2 years in advance now. So and that comes with in this day and age, there's a lot more research and it's a lot more of a calculated decision as to where we go next. Sort of collaborative phase as well with our customers where we're reviewing and going through the design with a select group of people. And then you're into all of the 3D modelling and marketing aspects of that, where it shoots off to see these renders that you see. And then with R&D and a new product development division, just actually tooling the boat, mocking it up, and then into your production. So when R&D stage starts, so it can generally be about 12 months, from first sort of CNC cut of a frame to the point where the boat's rolled into production, or when the boat's into the water for the first time.
Critical to the development of new models is the Maritimo Racing Division. They are the only company in the world to run a racing division within their business structure. They compete in the Australian Offshore Superboat Championships as well as the World XCAT Championships. Much of the information that's gleaned from the racing team does find its way into the production models coming off the line. In 2019, Tom and his co-driver Ross Wilton became the World XCAT Champions. This series is run all over the world, and Tom will tell us a little bit more about how that takes place.
So the Maritimo Racing Division was started by my dad about 30 years ago, way before the inception of Maritimo itself. So it's carried on from when he started the Maritimo brand. So we've had numerous Australian titles and a few world titles as well. But it also has fed into the production motor yachts and Maritimo motor yachts. So some of those performance aspects and technological aspects have been fed through, and Maritimo motor yachts are now the benefit of that. So there's two current classes I'm racing at the moment, and so the first is the Offshore Superboat Championships in the extreme class, which is here in Australia, and so it's a 40-foot cat with inboard engines, making just a little bit over 800 horsepower, and speeds of around sort of 130 miles an hour, well over 200 kilometres an hour. And then we have the XCat World Championship, and we have our R30 XCat hull on that. It's a twin outboard, twin 400 Verado boat. The boat only weighs a little bit over 2,000 kilos, so there's quite a big power to weight ratio there. So a little bit slower on the top end than the extreme boat, but far more exciting and challenging to drive, as you can imagine they're quite lively. Both of them though, extremely fast and extremely fun.
More recently, Bill Barry Cotter has rekindled his love for sailing, purchasing the 117-year-old ketch Cat Wincher 2 years ago, and more recently searching globally and purchasing a boat to be called Maritimo 11. The new boat was due to compete in the 2020 Sydney to Hobart, but plans were scuttled when the event was cancelled.
Where did my interest come in sailing? We as a family had moved from the bush to Sydney, and I joined a little club at Byra at Pittwater and started sailing a VJ. The connection with Cat Wincher was my father bought the boat in 1960. He sold it some years later, and I went in the early 90s, it would have been, looking for it and couldn't find it, and then next thing it turned up on Gumtree. So I acquired the boat and spent 2 years restoring it. Yeah, Cat Wincher is a little 32-foot boat that was built in 1904 and then sold in 1947 to three guys in England, and they sailed it to Australia and put it in the Sydney Hobart race in 1950. Yeah, the boat was finished actually in time for the Hobart race, and which was the 75th Hobart race, but I had a heart attack a few months before, so I couldn't sail. So my brother and the rest of the crew took the boat to Hobart and won their division, so which I was very excited about. And then at that point, I'd made the decision that if I really wanted to do the Hobart again, I was going to have to get a bigger boat. So that's the decision was then made. We bought a new boat. It's a 54-footer. We acquired that in California, and the intention was to put it in the last Hobart race, but sadly COVID destroyed that. Kendall, my brother, is actually the skipper of the boat and really had skippered the boats in the past that I had raced. He's technically, very clever guy as a sailor, and I've got 100% confidence in the guy.
With strong forward bookings on some models out to the end of 2022 and a positive outlook, Maritimo are well placed to take advantage of 2021. While from the outside it may look like business as usual, everything internally is structured around one main goal, and that is to produce the finest luxury motor yachts available anywhere in the world.